Seth Schachner live with us right now. Seth is the managing director for Strat Americas. Seth, always good to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Good to be here, Veronica.
So, Seth, break this down for us and explain how streaming has really changed the landscape in Hollywood.
Yeah, it really has impacted the entire ecosystem here. I mean, certainly production and all the business models behind how streaming programming, whether it's something that say is an original from a Netflix or an HBO, or it's something that's even picked up from international markets. I mean, the model's been called cost plus in some corners of the business. Basically, the long and short of it is that the royalty piece of it isn't the same as it used to be because it's not getting sold and broadly syndicated out there, really broadly in the way it used to be in old traditional linear television. And these subscription services are a monthly fee or an advertising driven free models or low price models. And kind of obvious to state it, but there's a little bit less in the pot in terms of individual programming that's coming in. And so for sure, it's impacted what's called the back end for talent. And I think all these services, even though they're growing immensely, growing revenue, growing production, I don't think the artists the writers' earnings have really kept up with it. So the gist of it is really around kind of redefining their place in that streaming landscape.
So help us understand, because streaming services, like you were just saying, have created all this content, right? And it obviously has allowed for so many more jobs for writers, people in production. But wages are going down. So why are they down if there is a demand for more people? Are these companies just not as successful as they were hoping to be?
Well, it's a number of things. I mean, basically a streaming service isn't set up the way on a business model as the way, say, a television network, used to be in the past, where a piece of programming might get created and then it's sold and distributed to a variety of different entities, whether globally or, in independent markets, the syndication market. So it's a different, I don't want to call it lesser, but it's just a different business model to begin with. So there probably isn't as much in the pot, if you will, to think about in terms of divvying it up. And this isn't, I think, exclusive to film and television. I come from music, and it's even been a harsher set of circumstances there if you're an individual creative participant. And plus you have the streaming services are, I think, a little bit more aggressive using technology and kind of redefining their work processes, if you will. It may not be the same as the old school studio production processes. So there's maybe less episodes. They're not getting syndicated. And, I think someone has pointed to me stars like Jennifer Aniston, what they'd be worth today if Friends were made today. It'd be a lot less than what it was 20 or 30 years ago when it was made. So it's a different landscape. And, yeah, for sure there's less. And I think, what you're seeing is the writers trying to redefine that position, whether it's through these writers' rooms, as you just mentioned, or, increasing number of episodes. And they're trying to see some of the data that's coming in from the streaming services, which is really hard. And they're even grasping out at AI as well. So there's a lot they're trying to do. It's a really hard set of circumstances. But I think most people in the business really support them.
I wanted you to expand on that really quick, Seth, because we're running out of time here. And I'm sorry to jump in, because I know there is a meeting today at the White House with CEOs from these big artificial intelligence companies like, OpenAI, which is responsible for ChatGPT. How big of a threat do you believe artificial intelligence is to the industry right now?
I think it's a very serious threat, for sure. I'm not of the mindset that it's going to destroy everything. I come out in the middle of the road on it, and I think it will ultimately be part of the ecosystem and help it. It's a little more extreme and out of control right now in the music sector. In there, I think it'll be balanced against a bunch of different interests. But, it definitely has the possibility of changing things like writing and production and scripts. And if it's untethered to copyright law, which it sort of is right now, it's definitely threatening. And I think they're right to look at this and try and get arms around it. So there's a lot in front of them.
And I've got to let you go, but do you think things get better for the writers?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I think the middle ground is that I bet the studios and the streamers will probably put something more on the table, because if the strike goes on for a long time, it's going to be very, very damaging. So I think there could be some sort of interim solution as they go about trying to redefine their role, their economic role.
All right, Seth Schachtner from Strat America. Seth, always good to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Nice to be here.